Hi folks, this is Chris at the ROM checking in for TradeTaxPlus Center of Excellence. This is the final video in this series of videos, and it deals with the overs and unders for at points of sales. How do you deal with that from a VAT perspective? On the one side you've been shortchanged, on the other side you've actually underpaid. Well, how does the organization deal with those overs and unders? And that comes right back to the inquiry, what is consideration for supply? Because it's on consideration that we pay VAT. And is it possible that the price charged and the consideration for VAT could be two different things? Now, from a legal perspective, the first inquiry is when I paid you 110 and not 100, did I intend to pay you 110? Because I thought this thing is worth more. Now, that's highly unlikely to be the case in a normal shopping environment, but if that happens, then there's a tacit agreement that the 110 is the consideration that you pay VAT on. But then, let's assume it's not the case, which would be 99.999% of all instances. Then the next question is, what do we do with that 10 Rand? Now, then you go into section 22 of the VAT Act, and the VAT Act says if you haven't repaid that amount within 4 months to the person that has overpaid you, then that becomes consideration for a deemed service. So then pay VAT in any event. If the person subsequently comes back and says, hey, I've just discovered that you owe me 10 bucks, then you can reverse the VAT that you've accounted for that after that 4-month period. And that's quite simple, that's how it works. But when you come to unders, it's a little bit more challenging. So now the price is 10, but you've paid me 9. What do I do with that shortfall from a VAT perspective? Now, the consideration is the amount agreed between the two parties. It is essentially the price. But now, somehow in the process, some money is lost. The challenge is you will never, at the point of sale environment, be able to pinpoint what transaction that relates to. So there's 1,000 people coming through the till point, or the point of sales, and there's one instance where the over or where the under occurred. So you cannot link that to a specific supply. So what does it then really mean? It really means you've lost money. Somebody stole it, or somebody just gave too much change or something like that. So the consideration would normally be the 100 in our example, and whatever the shortfall is would just be a financial loss and would not impact the amount of VAT payable. But then, having said that, is there an argument that the short payment is essentially a bad debt? So you still owe me the money, you just walked away with the stuff. I actually don't know who owes me the money, but somebody owes me the money. Can you argue yourself into that being a bad debt and making an adjustment for irrecoverable VAT adjustment? Highly unlikely, because the onus would be on the supplier to prove to which person that debt was owed. What have you done to recover that debt? And lastly, have you now given up on recovering that debt? So the transaction link must be there. Almost impossible to prove in a point of sale environment. So what happens in practice? In practice, output tax is paid on the full amount that should have been charged, and the shortfall is simply treated as a shortfall in terms of money that got lost. Is it possible, though, that if you're on the invoice basis, on the payments basis, and you've only received 90, that only the 90 is subject to VAT? It has to be. In those instances where you registered as a vendor accounting of VAT on the payments basis, there you only take the cash that you've actually received. How you deal from an accounting basis to recover the rest, well, that's an accounting issue, it's not a VAT issue. So what's the learning? Don't confuse what accountants do with what happens from a VAT perspective. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the videos for this month. The next lot will be coming soon, because we're so way down February already that we almost, by the end of February, you'll get your next set of videos. But give us your feedback. Does this assist in any way? Use it any which way you want. If you want to use it for training in your organizations, please do that. You don't need my or anybody else's approval. Just do it. But for now, it's me, Chris at the ROM, checking out for TradeTaxPlus Center of Excellence.